Okay, we'll call the regular meeting of council to order at 7 o'clock, August 15th. We have an agenda before us. Are there any changes to the agenda, Mr. Septelli?
No, there's not.
Thank you. I need a motion to approve the agenda as presented. Deputy Mayor Valentino, Councillor Byer, all those in favor? All those in favor? Carried. Thank you. Next we have general inquiries. Do we have any general inquiries this evening? Please come forward, state your name and ask your question, please. Thank you.
Yes, my name is Dave Tugwood. My question is regarding the recent fatal automobile incident on July 21st involving a newly licensed City of Thompson taxi driver. And I'm just wondering if, in light of that incident, if the city is going to change what seems to be a current policy of issuing taxi driver's licenses to people before all the proper exams and the tests are done and all the background checks are completed. Is there going to be any change to that policy where everybody who applies for a taxi license has to go through all of the same procedures and background checks and road tests for their Class 4 license and everything else?
Thank you. I'll just go to Chief Mascarene in regards to taxi. Are we entertaining any change in our process?
I believe at this time, Mr. Tugwood, there'll be no changes coming to the taxi bylaw.
So an individual can come in here and he doesn't, like myself, when I came from Ontario, before I could get my Class 4 license, I had to have a Manitoba Class 5 license in good standing for 1 year before I could apply for a Class 4 license and take the test for it. And I'm just kind of wondering, because this particular individual had been in the country for maybe a month, it wasn't really possible for him to go through that kind of procedure. And also considering it takes 6 weeks to get a child abuse registry check done, I'm just kind of wondering how this particular individual was able to get a taxi driver's license from the city without all those preliminary procedures being completed.
You can certainly review the application. Thank you.
Now we can get into the restoration of my unlawfully suspended license. And the documents that I was provided, the ones that you said were written up on March the 17th, but were in fact written up on March the 23rd, postmarked on March the 24th, and received by me on March the 30th. Those documents were supposed to be made available to me in 2012 when I appealed the initial suspension, and I'm just wondering if you could explain to me why they weren't made available to me, why I was denied my due process.
I think the process has been followed, to my understanding, and from the advice of the administration. The process was followed. You were notified and given the documentation as per the taxi bylaw, and so I can't comment any further on that.
I'm sorry, sir, I have to disagree with you on that, because the documents that the city decided to withhold on me, apart from the fact that there was only 5 words in those entire something like 30 pages of documents that were actually truthful. None of the rest of it was truthful, and I was never given an opportunity to call any of those statements into question and to defend myself against those. And considering the way your former license inspector, it's like she doesn't respond very favorably to cross-examination, I suspect that may be part of the reason why I was never given access to those documents when I appealed the original suspension of my license, because that's not only violation, denial of due process, and I think that crosses a line into obstruction of justice. And it does. I've had several opinions on that, and there's currently several investigations going on regarding the whole matter of the way I've been treated by the city. And so far, one of those investigations is completed and come back in my favor. So.
Okay, we'll look forward to any correspondence you can provide to us, but at this point, the process has been followed, and nothing has changed in the status. Thank you.
Okay, I'll let that be.
Any other questions or comments from the general public? Yep, come forward, please state your name and ask your question. Thank you.
Good evening, Mayor Fensky, councillors. My name is Chris Haas. On Thursday, I was listening to the radio when a caller called in and asked questions in regards of Cree Road Lane situation. I just agreed with your answer in regards of the number of lanes on Cree Road between Thompson Drive and Brentwood Road. Therefore, I called in myself to get clarification from you. You stated that you have been living in Thompson since the 1960s and that Cree Road always has been a two-lane road between Thompson Drive and Brentwood Road. This is what you stated live radio, CDB.
My opinion,
correct.
yes. Yes, I did.
As you can imagine, me as a Thompson citizen who has been living here in the great town of Thompson for over 27 years, I did not agree with your statement. The reason why I do not agree with your statement is that due to the safety factor, Cree Road is a commercial road, or better said, a trucking road. You have businesses that are located on Cree Road and rely on the supplies by truck. You choked off the intersection by KFC with a right turn arrow only. That will put trucks and, in the winter time, slow-moving equipment in the center lane. That will create a hazard for other motorists. Cree Road between Thompson Drive and Brentwood Road has always been a four-lane road and has so been marked. The reason for that is easy access between downtown and the commercial area of Thompson. So I did some research and then came across images from 2002, 2005 on Google Earth showing 4 lanes on Cree Road. I brought with me copies of the 2009 Google Earth Street View images that I would like to present to you, Mayor Fensky, and the councillors. This image is showing that Cree Road has been painted as 4 lanes. Over a period of time, I have been talking with Councillor Matichak about my dissatisfaction in regards of the road painting in Thompson. He informed me that he has been bringing this issue up at Public Works and Infrastructure Committee. I asked Mr. Matichak more than once why Cree Road has not been painted accordingly. His answer is that there is a disagreement on the committee level, and Councillor Matichak states it always has been 4 lanes and is presently an unpainted 4-lane road. As you can see on the pictures here, it's painted as 4 lanes. Why are you going to continue to mislead the people of Thompson?
And corrected on the image. I'll take face value of the image, but I will go to the chair of that committee, Councillor Matichak, to explain the decision of that committee that was discussed 3 previous meetings, and most recently, I believe, was last week. Councillor Matichak.
I would at this point rather not mention, because we have a disagreement on the minutes of that meeting, unapproved minutes. So I'd rather not comment at this point.
Smook, would you care to comment as the other member?
We have talked about this at many meetings. Decision was sort of made before we were on Public Works Committee. I too remembered as a 4-lane route. Basically, when I started on this committee last October, the committee had already made ruling that it was going to be a 2-lane. I personally use it as a 4-lane, but the consensus was supposedly before that it be changed to a 2-lane road.
We're going to create a hazard there in the winter time when we have the slow-moving equipment going in and out of the commercial area. As an example, skid steers and stuff like that. If you're going to choke it down to a 2-lane, we're going to be creating hazards there.
I just want to see the picture. Can you give it to us, please? Thank you.
Just that, from my recollection, and feel free to look it up yourself. In conversation with MIT, it's not wide enough by MIT standards to be a 4-lane road. Actually, if you want to, if you were to go towards the hospital, the new roads that were built there not too long ago, that is the standard for a 4-lane road in front of there. No, that's not a poor excuse. That's fact. I'm just.
Question and answer period. And so to Councillor Foley's point, and you may or may not agree, but this is the fact in regards to how our lines are painted. Whether you whether you agree with 4 or 2, or whatever line is painted off of Mystery Lake Road, which is Highway 6. The province of Manitoba, Department of Transportation, will not paint any other lines other than Highway 6 through our community unless the City of Thompson requests and marks those lines. The position of the province is that they will paint them, have their contractor paint them for us as long as we mark them, because they do not meet provincial standards in regards to widths. Council in the past has accepted that liability and marked some streets in our community as 4 lanes and some as 2. So I don't want to get into a debate back and forth. That's the reality of how lines get painted. Understanding the discussion on Cree Road, but for the ask, it was discussed at previous Public Works meetings as previous as last week in regards to the 4-lane or 2 lanes south of Cree Road. The decision was to leave it at 2 lanes and have the 4-lane from Cree Road from KFC intersection to I believe the Mystery Lake Hotel, where the median starts there. So that's the history on that. And
Standards on this road now, on Cree Road.
Yes, we
Part
do.
of Cree Road, it's marked as 4 lanes, and the other part is not marked as 4 lanes. So your answer there doesn't make sense.
No, it does make sense when you put it in the context that the province of Manitoba will mark a road 4 lanes for us in the City of Thompson if we ask them to do. They won't do it on their own like they do Mystery Lake, because the roads within the City of Thompson, excluding Highway 6, do not meet the provincial standards. So we have stepped outside those standards and accepted the liability and asked them to mark certain streets 4 lanes. So it's on the City of Thompson, not on the province of Manitoba. Okay.
So are we accepting when we're going to have accidents at that intersection because we choked it down to a 2-lane now? With the traffic, heavy equipment traffic coming in and out of there? That's what's going to happen in the wintertime.
Again, it was discussed at Public Works, and that's the decision. Councillor Matichuk.
I just wanted to say, you say it will remain 2-lane, I just wanna say by this picture, it never was a 2-lane. It would have to, if it were to remain, it would have to remain as a 4-lane.
Any other questions or comments? Second time? Third and final? Thank you. We'll now go on to the adoption of minutes, and we have a resolution to adopt minutes. This is resolution 2016-155, moved by Deputy Mayor Valentino, seconded by Councillor Ellis. Be it resolved that the minutes of the public hearing for variation order number 974, 32 Cambridge Street, held in Council Chamber, City Hall, Thompson, Manitoba, on Monday, July 18th, 2016, be adopted as circulated. Call for the question. All those in favor? Carried. Thank you. Next, we have the resolution to adopt the regular meeting minutes. This is resolution 2016-156, moved by Councillor Smook, seconded by Deputy Mayor Valentino. Be resolved that the minutes of the regular meeting of council held in Council Chambers, City Hall, Thompson, Manitoba, on Monday, July 18th, 2016, be adopted as circulated. Call for the question. All those in favor? Carried unanimously. Thank you. We're now moving into committee reports, and we have the Community Safety Officer report prepared by Sonia Wiseman. If you, Sonia, would you present the report?
Key Council, tonight in front of you, you have the report of the Community Safety Officers Program. And I believe it's been on AllNet since Wednesday, so I'm really hoping that you got a chance to read it. This report was put together by our Manager of Public Safety, Sonia Wiseman, with a lot of hours of background. And, you'll find that this report brings you to the history of the whole program. Long before we had our full-time people, we started off with contracting a bylaw enforcement force from southern Manitoba. We used them for a year or so. and then we went into our own. We had, I believe, 4 officers that were on the streets for 6 months with really no authority whatsoever. We dealt with the people on the streets and tried to get them the help that they needed, but without enforcement, there was not too much we could do about it. Manitoba Justice, at that time, after long meetings with the team leader, Mr. Sepatelli, and myself, Deputy Borgon, and at that time, Inspector Duff, worked with the provincial government and laid out our plans of what we needed for our community. They in turn listened to us, and there was a point in time where they changed the powers of the Manitoba Police Services Act, which give our CSOs some authority. And I think that authority come under 5 jurisdictions: the IPDA Act, the Canadian Mental Health Act, the Gaming and Liquor Act, and the Child Custody Act. And from there, we found that our dream had become a reality, and our journey had started to put it on the streets, and we started working with the people. In your report, you will find the setup of the program, the cost of that. You'll also find the requirements for our CSO training. You'll also find our stats. And in stats, you'll find that our CSOs, the amount of weapons we have removed from the streets, the illegal drugs we have moved from the streets with the help of the RCMP, they're all in there. You'll find the relationship that we had with the Mounted Police and other partnerships we have formed with the mental health and Thompson Fire and Emergency Services, the hospital, some of the churches. This has all been done by the people that are working on the streets, the CSOs. They've carried this program to the people that we knew could help the ones that we were dealing with. I understand from years ago talking to Inspector Duff, and his saying was always, we can't incarcerate the problem away, we have to deal with it and work with it. And that's what I believe our CSOs have been doing. We're trying to get them in the right direction for help, whether it be the AFM, the mental health people. We try to steer them rather than just load them up and lock them up. But that's just not working for us. You'll find that the personal successes that we've had and some of the challenges. The challenges are, I think, are less than the successes. I believe today that our CSO program is a success, brought on by the people that are doing it, support from council and administration, keeping them on the line that we want to meet. I believe today, as your director of public safety, that this program works for Thompson. I have no doubt in my mind that there's been times that we've helped people. If we talk to some of our partners, we've got them into homes. We've taken them off the streets. Our cold weather program has reached out farther than Manitoba. They've taken the Thompson's cold weather program and turned it into the hot weather program in Houston, Texas. That come from Thompson, Manitoba. That was with the help of council that we brought that to another reality. So you've got the report in front of you. My Deputy Chief, Mike Borgon, and my Manager of Public Safety is here to answer any of your questions, if you have any. And we'll be sure to, if we don't have the answers for you tonight, we'll make every effort to have them answers for you as quick as possible. Thank you, sir.
Council, Councillor Ellis, please. Councillor Ellis.
Thank you, Chief Mascarene. I just want to convey I'm fully in support of the community safety program, community safety officer program. We're due to this report, you can see how busy our 8 officers have been, and I know that other municipalities in the province are looking towards us as a model. As soon as we're involved in a pilot project, and they want to have the same program in their city as well. So they're watching us, and I think we truly are a model for Manitoba with community safety officers having an impact on our crime severity index, and it's having a positive impact. So just convey that to the community safety officers and to yourselves, and good work.
I have 5 questions. I might ask them all at once. First off, I appreciate the hard work that you put into this report. I appreciate your passion when you talk about this program. I think it really comes out in you. So thank you for that. Will this be a condensed, annual report? Like, I don't, every year it wouldn't be this detailed, but would this be something we would get on an annual basis moving forward? Okay. The one thing when I think that I got out of this, a few points, was for budget items already for next year. We talked about the MLCC having the 50-50 split. If that's something, maybe we can look at increasing that split or more coming from them. That agreement's already for the 2016-2017 year, is that correct?
I believe that, talked to Mr. Sepitelli this afternoon that we were going to move forward in 2017 and open up dialogue again with the government to see where they want to bring us and what we can do for them.
The other note in there I noticed was that you had a CSO that's gone now into, sorry, it's windy over here, into the training in RCMP depot. Is there a chance he would come back here once he is a member, since he's so familiar with our streets and our people? Is that an opportunity there, or no? I don't know.
Properly trained once they're out, and our own staffing levels here at the detachment.
The other thing was you had great letters of support. Is there any way we make this or parts of this document for the public to see the goodness out of it?
The intent is after your council meeting tonight is to upload this on our webpage.
Okay. My other point in here was, because I'm already thinking about next year's budget, was obviously there's a concern about hours and overtime hours. I'm assuming that we need to address that in this year's budget. Okay, so we have to remember to put that on the wish list. And my last and final thing was, there was a comment in one of the CSO's letters about no direct radio communication in the cars to the RCMP. So is there any kind of a safety hazard to these CSOs by not having that? Or are they relying on cell phones? I didn't really understand when he put that in there what.
All our cars are radio cars, and they are in communication with our dispatch center at the fire department. They also carry a cell phone in the event that the radio would go down. So they're in contact with us all the time. Many times our communications in the fire department will ask for a PAR check, and they'll come back and say, well, give me a 5-minute PAR. That's a personal accountability report. If we don't hear anything from them within that 5-minute or 10-minute span, then our second phone call would be right to the RCMP saying we've lost contact with our CSOs. This was the last location of them. Can you get the car over there? And they're usually Johnny on the spot.
And to add to that, we actually do have radios at the RCMP detachment. There's one in the cell area, and then there's one, I believe, in the bay
Yeah,
area.
the main pit area.
So they do have communication with our radios. I think what he was referring to in his letter is actually having an RCMP radio. But we can't do that through logistics for the RCMP. We can't have the CSOs have a radio that's just the same line as what the RCMP would have.
We go to Councillor Beyer. For sharing the information, this becomes a public document tonight, so it will be on Thompson.ca. We'll also be sharing it with the 22 other communities in Manitoba that have RCMP contracts. They've asked for a copy of that, and as well as the Department of Justice, Minister Stephenson. This is a pilot project, 2-year pilot project in partnership with the province of Manitoba. So we will be providing this report to the Department of Justice as well. Councillor Beyer.
Deputy Mayor Valentino took a lot of the questions and comments I was going to make. I'm glad that there's a lot for us to work with this budget season. First of all, I want to thank you. This is a tremendous amount of work. One thing I just wanted to point out, there's so much detailed information and it's so well documented. I believe it was in one of the letters from a CSO. They talked about the respect and professionalism of their training and in dealing with people, but that the attitude towards our homeless and people with addictions needs to change, and that's not something we can expect the CSOs to do, but I'm hoping that it's something that we find programming to work towards to make their job even easier yet, so.
Yes, Deputy Mayor Valentino did mention 10.2. I had some questions about your comments on overtime. You indicated that if a CSO is on sick leave or whatever, and another CSO is working alone, they're unable to confront large groups of people and are unable to transport at times for safety reasons. So, is it practical to have one CSO working, because we did hire with the intention of them working in pairs? So, I guess I question the working alone. The other thing I wanted to question was the bottom line of that clause says, therefore the RCMP regularly call in staff on overtime. Now, you're talking about RCMP calling in their staff. They don't have the authority to call in our staff, right? So, those were my comments. And it's a good report. It has a lot of information. Thank you.
Thank you. Councillor Foley?
I just want to say thank you for the report. Very detailed, well put together. We look at, we get a lot of feedback in return in regards to the CSI Crime Severity Index and statistics. Just from sitting at the Public Safety Committee meetings, the statistics of having our CSOs and alleviating a lot of the pressure off the RCMP for, I guess you could say, mundane tasks has been phenomenal. I just wanted to say that that's fantastic and it's really greatly appreciated. The tasks that CSO officers are able to alleviate, whether they be sitting, I believe, with the mental health act at the hospital, sitting at accident scenes, basically to leave RCMP to do the more serious work that they need to do. So I think that one thing there alone is a huge factor in the success of this program, and it's greatly appreciated. I've had a lot of positive comments and feedback on it. So I mean, if anybody in the public wants to see the statistics, the Public Safety Committee meetings are open to the public, and you're welcome to come in and see the actual numbers on the paper for what CSOs do on a regular basis. You're encouraged to join.
Any other questions? Councillor Smook?
Yeah, I was just going to mention Public Safety Committee. I've actually had a few concerns raised lately, and I'd encourage the public to get a hold of City Hall and attend a public safety meeting if they have concerns concerning, localized areas or some times in that. Thank you.
Seeing none, if council will allow, I'd just like to offer a comment in regards to the support of the program. Again, the chief has talked about the partnerships, and Staff Sergeant Colby is in regards to the RCMP. There's a great working relationship with the RCMP and the CSO program. There's also other partnerships out there in regards to the homeless shelter, Canada Mental Health, Norman Regional Health, and various other organizations. So again, this is one part of the bigger issue that we all are well aware of in Thompson, and it's one component that is working towards assisting us in dealing with a social issue that's not a criminal act. So again, congratulations to staff with the RCMP, with the CSO, and with all partners and the fire and paramedics as well for a job well done, and continue the good work. Thank you very much. Next we have correspondence. We have a letter from Eileen Clark, Minister of Indigenous and Municipal Relations, in regards to the 2016 Municipal Programs Grant. The letter states, attention Mayors and Reeves, Municipal Program Grant. I am pleased to advise that the first installment of the 2016 Municipal Programs Grant has been directly deposited to your municipality's account. The 2016 Municipal Programs Grant is distributed to all municipalities includes a base grant of $5,000 plus a per capita amount based on 2011 census populations. The grant will be paid in 2 equal installments this year, and initial payment is being made at this time and to assist your municipality in addressing its priority projects and service needs. The second installment for 2016 will be made in by September 30th, 2016. Our government recognizes the importance excuse me, of investing in communities and are committed to streamlining the delivery of future funding support for municipalities. Over the coming year, our government will work with municipalities and other stakeholders to develop a basket model funding approach to provide municipalities with greater flexibility to address their infrastructure priorities and service delivery needs. I look forward to continued discussions with our municipal partners over the next year to accomplish this goal. The provision of this grant, along with 2016 provincial funding support, reflects our government's commitment to the work in partnership with Manitoba municipalities to build a strong and sustainable communities for our citizens. Sincerely, Aileen Clark, Honourable Minister of Indigenous and Municipal Relations. Administration, any support? Council, any questions or comments? Seeing none, we'll receive for information. Thank you. Next, the letter from Eileen Clark, Minister of Indigenous and Municipal Relations, in regards to a 2016 General Assistance Grant, Building Manitoba Fund. Mayors and Reeves, 2016 General Assistance Grant, Building Manitoba Fund. I am pleased to advise the final installment of the 2016 Assistance Grant has been directly deposited to your municipality's account. General Assistance Grants are provided from the Building Manitoba Fund. This funding is part of the 2016 provincial funding support provided to municipalities throughout Manitoba, Indigenous and Municipal Relations. The 2016 General Assistance Grants will be based on the 2011 Stats Canada census populations and are paid to municipalities in 2 installments. An initial payment was made in April 2016, and with the balance of funding being provided at this time. Province's provision of general assistance grants along with other provincial funding is a part of our government's commitment to support the building of strong communities across Manitoba. Sincerely, Aileen Clark, Minister of Indigenous and Municipal Relations. And the amount of this check is $947,039.68. Questions or comments from council? Seeing none, we'll move on to the next. Another letter in regards to Eileen Clark, Minister of Indigenous and Municipal Relations, in regards to single window application intake 2016 infrastructure grant program. Mayors and Reeves single window application intake 2016 infrastructure grant programs. I'm pleased to advise the applications are now being accepted through a single window application intake for cost shared infrastructure funding from the following 4 grant programs: the Municipal Road and Bridge Programs, the New Building Canada Fund, Small Communities Fund, the Clean Water and Wastewater Fund, and the Public Transit Infrastructure Fund. A total of $330 million in federal and provincial funding will be available to Manitoba municipalities through these funding programs. Manitoba's new government committed to a new approach to strategic infrastructure investment, one that will provide all municipalities with a fair say on how funds are invested in their communities. This approach includes reduction to red tape and measures that will allow more efficient access to grant funding through a single window delivery approach. As a first step towards this commitment, our government is pleased to provide municipalities with a new streamlined process for accessing infrastructure funding. Applications for all 4 grant programs being offered at this time will be accepted through one portal through the Manitoba Municipalities online system. The deadline for municipalities to apply for this funding is August 26, 2016. Through the 2016 Municipal Road and Bridge Program, a total of $16 million in provincial funding, $14 million for roads and $2 million for bridge projects is available to municipalities this year. The program allows for up to 50% cost sharing funding for municipal road and bridge renewal projects. All incorporated municipalities in Aboriginal Northern Affairs ANA communities outside of Winnipeg are eligible for the Municipal Road and Bridge Program funding. The third and final intake of the Federal Provincial Small Communities Fund, SCF, which supports infrastructure projects in communities with populations of less than 100,000, will make up the $10.2 million in federal funding available. This program is also cost shared by the province, with up to 1/3 total eligible costs available. It is important to note that in 2016, the federal government amended the SCF program to include new categories such as local roads, recreation, tourism, culture, passenger ferries, and civic assets and municipal buildings. Disaster mitigation projects are also eligible to be cost shared by the federal government at 50%. The final 2 cost sharing programs, Clean Water and Wastewater Fund, CWWF, and the Public Transit Infrastructure Fund, PTIF, are part of the federal government's 2016 Infrastructure Phase 1 plan. The CWWF program is open to all Manitoba municipalities, including the City of Winnipeg. The PTIF program is open to recognized transit agencies as well as municipalities that have transit systems. Federal funding under these two programs represents up to 50%, with the provincial share representing up to 25% of the total eligible cost of the project. All projects under these two programs must demonstrate incrementally and be completed no later than March 31st, 2018 to be eligible. Manitoba's two federal allocations under CWWF is $95.25 million for incremental improvements to municipal water and wastewater treatment infrastructure. Additionally, Manitoba's two-year federal allocation under PTIF is $82 million and $80.84 million, and was created to support incremental projects with rehabilitated transit systems and transit-related infrastructure, and to support long-term transit expansion plans. PTIF will address the modernization and rehabilitation of larger transit authorities, as well as the accessibility and safety of transit systems in small communities. Information of how to apply for this infrastructure funding, including program guidelines, is available through Manitoba Municipalities' online website. Prior to applying for the funding, I encourage you to read through the program guidelines to determine whether or not your project is eligible for funding. Department officials are available to assist your municipality with this process and answer any questions you may have. The funding reflects Manitoba new government's commitment to annual investment in strategic infrastructure. We will ensure the infrastructure dollars are fully allocated and spent for the benefit of municipalities across our province. I encourage you to take advantage of this funding and help address your municipality's infrastructure needs. I look forward to continuing to work with my municipal partners to address the infrastructure needs of Manitoba municipalities. Sincerely, Eileen Clark, Honourable Eileen Clark, Minister. Administration, anything to add?
Just a couple comments in regards to the programs. The unfortunate thing is the single window application. We received this August 4th with a deadline August 26th. It really doesn't offer municipalities the opportunity to do a lot of due diligence in their budgeting process. Having said that, the Municipal Road and Bridge Program, in which there's a resolution in Council's agenda package tonight for consideration, has been an annual program with the province of Manitoba that we've submitted a resolution for our paving work, of which we will do so again this year for a portion of Cree Road and Selkirk from the RCMP building to the terminus of the one-way by the Brad building. I'm dating myself here. The other aspects in regards to the Clean Water and Wastewater Fund, we have actually been successful in a grant from that fund just recently, which was announced likely a couple, 3 weeks ago, for a $3 million water main renewal project, of which is funded 50% by the feds, 25% by the province, and 25% by the City of Thompson. So that works well within our annual water main renewal program. We've inquired into the transit program, and we've been informed by the province at this time that the City of Thompson is not an eligible community under that program currently. And the last one is a Small Communities Fund, is that we have applied in the past for that program, and the latest one was unsuccessful when we submitted an application into the for the Norplex Pool under the Small Communities Fund. But having said that, we've resubmitted that program into the Canada 150 program, so hopefully that second time around we're successful with that application.
Thank you. Council, any questions or comments? Deputy Mayor Valentino.
I just wanted to comment. We also discussed this at the Finance and Admin Committee meeting, and we talked about the short time frame. And the transit one that we are not able to apply for, there were only 2 places within the province that were eligible. And Mr. Septoli, which were the 2 places?
Brandon and Winnipeg.
Brandon and Winnipeg.
Questions or comments from Council? Seeing none, we'll receive for information. Next, we have a letter from Manitoba Justice in regards to the proclamation of the Municipal Bylaw Enforcement Act. This is to all mayors and reeves, councillors and CAOs from Manitoba Justice, proclamation of the Municipal Bylaw Enforcement Act. Please be advised that the Municipal Bylaw Enforcement Act, with the exception of subsection 4(2), has been proclaimed and comes into force on August 8, 2016. This legislation enables municipalities to adjudicate contraventions of your bylaws using an administrative penalty scheme that does not involve the provincial court. By not proclaiming section 4(2) at this time, municipalities will have an additional time to prepare for enforcing parking violations. Once section 4(2) is proclaimed, the only adjudication option for parking bylaws will be the Municipal Bylaw Enforcement Act. Section 4(2) will not come into force until February 2017. Municipalities that do not opt into the Municipal Bylaw Enforcement Act will still have the option of bringing their bylaw matters, with the exception of parking tickets, to the court for adjudication, providing the bylaw offense is on a properly issued common offense notice. Municipalities that wish to enforce bylaws under the MBEA should obtain legal advice regarding the necessary steps to opt into the system. For further information, municipalities are encouraged to obtain a copy of the Municipal Bylaw Enforcement Act from the province's website, and they provide their website address. Municipalities are also encouraged to consult the guide at the Association of Manitoba Municipalities website, as well as their website has been addressed. Administration, anything to add?
Just indicate, I think the action should be directed to the Public Safety Committee for further action on this letter. We have, through the Public Safety Committee, have had initial discussions on this, knowing that it was coming. I think that through the Department of Fire and Public Safety is to taking a look at how it affects the City of Thompson. As indicated, that we will have to, at some point, develop a bylaw that will deal with parking infractions, as parking infractions will no longer be addressed at the court. So I think the next action is to have send it to the Public Safety Committee for further review and with recommendations coming back to Council.
Thank you. Council, any questions or comments? Seeing none, we'll take that direction then. Next up is a letter from Carolyn Bennett, Minister of Indigenous and Northern Affairs, in regards to the National Inquiry into Missing and Murdered Indigenous Women and Girls. This is, Dear Mr. Mayor, thank you for your correspondence concerning the National Inquiry into Missing and Murdered Indigenous Women and Girls. I wish to express my sincere apology for the delayed response. The Government of Canada is committed to real and substantive reconciliation with Indigenous peoples in this country, and the National Inquiry into Missing and Murdered Indigenous Women and Girls is an important step on this path and to ending the unacceptable rates of violence against Indigenous women and girls. The Prime Minister mandated the establishment of an inquiry into missing and murdered Indigenous women and girls as a priority for the Government of Canada, and we are delivering on this important commitment. Recently, my colleagues, the Honourable Jody Wilson-Raybould, Minister of Justice and Attorney General of Canada, and the Honourable Patricia Hedju, Minister of Status of Women, and I announced the details of the National Inquiry into the Missing and Murdered Indigenous Women and Girls, including the design, scope, mandate, and the commissioners who will lead the independent inquiry. During a 2-year period, the Independent Commission will be mandated to carry out the inquiry in accordance with the terms of reference and their powers to conduct public business under Part 1 of the Inquiries Act. The National Inquiry into Missing and Murdered Indigenous Women and Girls will be funded by the Government of Canada. The 5 commissioners who will lead the inquiry represent diverse regions and Indigenous voices. The terms of reference have been posted on our website at the following address, and they provided the government address. The Commission is mandated to inquire into and report on the underlying causes and systemic issues that contribute to the violence experienced by Indigenous women and girls. The mandate also gives the Commission the authority to examine institutions, policies, and practices, including policing or child welfare, as well as policies and practices that may have been effective in reducing violence and increasing safety. The Commission will provide its recommendations to the Government of Canada through interim and final reports. A pre-inquiry engagement process informed the design of the inquiry. During this process, engagement sessions with survivors, family members, and loved ones were held across the country. Approximately 2,100 participants, largely comprised of family members, survivors, and loved ones, met face-to-face with one or more federal minister. We also received more than 4,100 online surveys and 300 written submissions. The Government of Canada is grateful to the survivors, family members, loved ones, Indigenous and feminist organizations, and experts who have participated in the pre-inquiry engagement. Over the coming months, the Commission will set up an office or office's website and contact information. I invite you to contact the Commission once it's set up, should you wish to have further information about the operation processes or how to participate in the inquiry. Again, thank you for your participation in this important work. Sincerely, Carolyn Bennett, Honourable MP. Administration, anything to add?
Nothing further to add.
Council, any questions or comments? Seeing none, we'll receive for information. Next, we're moving into resolutions. I have a resolution to rescind resolution number 2016142, being a resolution to appoint Mayor Fenske to the Valet Ad Hoc Committee. It's moved by Councillor Wong. There is no seconder, so we need a seconder to bring it to the table. Gary. Thank you. We have a duly moved resolution. This is Resolution 2016-157, moved by Councillor Wong, seconded by Councillor Matichak. Whereas at the special meeting of Council on June 29, 2016, Council passed a resolution number 2016-142, appointing Mayor Fenske as the City of Thompson representative to the ad hoc committee to address Valley's 2018 closure of the smelter and refinery. And whereas on July 18, 2016, a written motion was brought forth to rescind resolution number 2016-142. Now therefore be resolved, the council rescind resolution number 2016-142, appointing Mayor Fenske as the City of Thompson representative to the ad hoc committee to address Valley's 2018 closure of the smelter and refinery. Go to administration for anything to add? Go to the mover, Councillor Wong. You want to speak to resolution? Speak to the resolution.
Thank you, Your Worship. Before I start my remark, how much time am I allowed to speak?
There's no time.
Okay, thank you. Back in June 29, 2016, the mayor called for a special regular meeting to point the mayor is the only official elected council to be at the ad hoc committee and to approve the traveling expenses. I was proposed to add another councillor to the committee, and it just happened I was in Winnipeg at that time, so I voluntarily to do so, and Councillor Collada was making a motion to amend the resolution and seconded by Councillor Matichak, but unfortunately got defeated by 6-3, and the resolution being passed by 6 in favor, 2 opposed and 1 abstain. Here's my few concern and question to all of you councillors that vote in favor to the resolution 2016-142. My first question: who initiated the ad hoc committee and which department called for the meeting? Second question: Minister Collin and MLA Kelly Bindle were here in Thompson a week prior to that meeting and a week after the meeting. It is very rare that government will spend that much time 3 weeks in a row with one municipality. Here's my question: what was the urgency that mayor had to call a special regular meeting in such a rush matter to approve the appointment and the travel expenses? My third concern and question: when I voluntarily asked to attend the meeting in Winnipeg and got rejected by majority councillors, some say I'm not invited, some say inappropriate for me to attend. When the province invite the official, it always come with invitation letter. Here is my question to all of you: did any one of you seen the invitation letter? If you did, why only you and not the rest of us? If it didn't, why you comment that I am not invited? What is the secret that behind this? Number 4 concern and question: when I look at the memo that provided by the administration staff under the airfare line in written 50% cost, can someone explain to me who will pay for the other half? Number 5, I'm a big supporter of democracy, but it is not given the legal right to contravene the Municipal Act. This is my last concern and also the most important one. Our mayor is in conflicts of interest by appointed and also the only council allowed to the ad hoc committee. Refer to the Municipal Council Conflicts of Interest Act under indirect pecuniary interest section 4.1b. I'm going to read it out. For purpose of this act, but subject to this section, a person shall be presumed to have an indirect pecuniary interest in a matter where section B, the person is, subsection 1, a partner or employed by. To support my argument, here is my proof. 2012, November 13, a resolution approved in principle the grant in lieu Resolution 2012-312. Mayor Fenske was declared conflicts of interest. That resolution to approve with Valet, City of Thompson, Mystery Lake School Board, and I believe it's LGD, and he declared conflicts of interest. 2015, April 27, a resolution to approve the letter of intent between Valet and the City of Thompson. Resolution 2015-088. Our mayor declared conflicts of interest. So twice he did, and why not this? Now, I'm turning the floor back to the mayor. Hopefully yourself or you will direct or allow the council to answer all my questions. Thank you.
Council, any other questions or comments? Councilor Collada.
Yes, I also believe it's inappropriate that a manager at Valet is the only city rep on the ad hoc committee to deal with Valet layoffs. We can use the Municipal Conflict of Interest Act as a guide because that act requires that the person in conflict be the person to declare the conflict of interest. But there's lots of guides that we can use. The book of Matthew in the New Testament says that no man can serve two masters. So I plan to support the resolution to rescind. Thank you.
Thank you. Councilor Ellis.
I'm in support of Mayor Fenske being our representative on this task force. I do not believe that he's in a conflict of interest. The reason why I believe that is because the scope of the task force is to deal with the impact of Valet's changes in 2018. It's not to deal with the actual business plan that Valet has. That's a discussion that Valet must have internally along with its union. I believe Mayor Fenske has lived in this community and his family for many years, and I believe he has the utmost the utmost interest of this community at heart. So I'm in support of Mayor Fenske.
Thank you. Councilor Smook.
Yes, I actually happened to be here and I don't have it, but I saw that the email or the memo the day that it came in after a mayor's meeting that it was in fact Mayor Fenske that was called to this meeting. The government is who called the meeting, and I don't believe there was any secrets. And I believe for the first meeting they only wanted the top level of us, just so to keep the numbers manageable, so they could call. As for it being called by the government and for the mayor to attend, I don't perceive the conflict of interest there. We did mention at some point that we do want to be kept up to date as a council, which I believe tonight we got an update, which was that. If we want to, in Thompson, you either work for the city or for the valet in a lot of instances. It's like Chief Spence, who's leading our Port of Churchill call. He is the mayor of Churchill, but he also has interests in jobs and stuff at the port. So I think there is times when we have to just, have faith in our leaders that they will go on to do this. I will be supporting Dennis staying on the committee.
Thank you. Anybody else? Councilor Byer.
I know this doesn't always sit well with people, or some people, but according to our act and our words not coming to me, operational procedures, we have one official spokesman for the city of Thompson, and that is our mayor. The people of Thompson elected Dennis Fenske as our mayor. So therefore, the people of Thompson have given their confidence in this man to represent us at the table. And I realize that doesn't sit well with all councillors. But that is the fact. That's what it comes down to. And if the province or any organization invites the mayor to the table, neither the mayor nor council are obligated to send anyone else. Now, if you take a look at, as the process unfolds, there will be several streams or buckets or whatever they call it of actions that have to be followed. And there will be lots of opportunity for other councillors to be involved in the areas of specific interest to them. But when we're looking at the big picture and setting up the overall thing, we do not need every councillor involved. And again, it was our mayor who was invited. In terms of conflict of interest, yes, it is the person who has to declare it, but I do not see a conflict of interest. If our mayor was one of the people who was going to lose a job in the smelter refinery, I would be saying something different. He is not one of the employees who will be affected by any downsizing in the smelter or refinery. So therefore, I think he's on safe ground not to declare an interest. I just don't see it. I will not be able to support this resolution.
Thank you. Councillor Foley.
Words here in regards to mayor being the head of council. It makes perfect sense that when the initial invitation being sent out from the government that we send our elected head of council to go to this. And most of us as council, we get there's opportunities to go to a lot of different meetings and delegations, and we have to think amongst ourselves who the appropriate people are to go. I'll be first to say that I'm not the one for every opportunity to go. In this case, majority of council had decided that Mayor Fenske was the right choice for the right person for the right situation to embark on this, and we decided that even though Councillor Wong had offered that at that specific time he was not the right choice to represent, and that's just how it happens. I mean, it's a democracy. We wanted to put the right person in the right place at the right time, and I feel like we did that. There's no conflict of interest. We're not negotiating anything here. We are sitting at a table and discussing what will happen, what can happen, and we're simply talking about the first meeting here, not the entire process as a whole. So the other thing too that we just got to be careful. I mean, we talk about this great democracy that we all enjoy. I took a lot of backlash in previous for rescinding a motion in front of council by a few people who have in turn have gone and rescinded or made the attempt to rescind motions. We voted. It was the majority decided that this is the process we're going to go with. And looking around, I don't see that anything has changed. Once again, my full support is to our head of council going in and representing the city of Thompson, which is what he was elected to do, is what he's paid to do, and what we want him to do.
Deputy Mayor Valentino.
I'd like to make a few comments about this. It'll be the last time I speak about this because it's 2 months old news as far as I'm concerned. If you speak about a big supporter of democracy in your fifth point, then democracy ruled. So I don't even think this is worth the discussion or the time. Frankly, a waste of time. And I spoke at that meeting that 20 months ago, the citizens of Thompson voted our mayor to be the mayor by a margin, by quite a big margin, and he worked for Valley at that time. So the citizens of our city knew where he worked. They voted him to be the mayor. He is our leader. He was asked to be at the table by the province, so he was there. Democracy ruled. He is the leader for this committee. I will not discuss this again, or will I revisit it. But what I do ask is, as councillors, as we move forward, which we should be, which some of us have been working this summer, moving forward already to next year, instead of working in the past from stuff in May and June now that we're rediscussing, that you start working on your committees at your committee levels, responding to emails, and start working forward to the next budget discussions, and not go into the past where you didn't get your way and want to revisit things. Because I won't discuss this again, because I'm moving forward for all citizens.
Thank you. Councillor Matichuk.
I'll be voting for this resolution to rescind, and it's quite simple. Why? I would rather see us remove the mayor as the rep on this committee, rather than see the province come in and say it is a conflict of interest and we'll remove him from the mayorship.
Thank you.
Thank you.
That's it? You're done? Okay. If council will indulge, I'd like to also offer my comments. I'll just be brief. Councillor Wong is quite correct. I've declared conflict of interest in the past twice, probably more than twice, both in regards to the acquisition of the water treatment plant and the grant in lieu. The difference being this is a contractual obligation between Valet and the City of Thompson, of which I'm an employee of Valet. So there is a pecuniary interest in that because we're signing a contract with Valet, my employer. Secondly, the asset of the water treatment plant. Again, we're getting an asset from the water treatment. We're signing a memorandum of understanding. I declared at the outset that I would be declaring a conflict of interest because this is a contract between the City of Thompson and Valet. And so in this instance, there is no contract to be signed. There is no province to step in and remove me. They asked me to sit on the committee. And to Councillor Foley's point, there will be plenty of opportunity, as I outlined earlier in the meeting, that for council to participate in the various subcommittees. The initiation of this first meeting was to get the ball rolling with the main stakeholders, which included Valet, Community Economic Development, Community Futures, that Province of Manitoba, and the City of Thompson. And they requested the leaders of those organizations to meet. That was my intent, and that's what I did. Secondly, there was two other points. To Councillor Collada's stating that I'm a manager. I am not a manager. I am not part of the management team. I'm a supervisor of engineering support services. I have a manager who manages me, and he has a manager who manages him. So I am twice removed from the management team. In regards to the cost of the airfare, who paid the other half? I personally paid the other half because I had previously booked a ticket for personal business, including city business into the trip. I thought it was only fair to ask for half the fare. So I paid for half, the city paid for half for the trip. I think I covered all the points. So given that everyone has had a chance to speak, I will now call for the question. All those in favor? You as the right to close, so you have an opportunity to close.
Thank you, Your Worship. Just to clarify one question before I ask the question to the Councillor Smoot. Did you make it to the in-camera meeting by the time they finished?
Me, and this is to Councillor Smook, asking if you attended an in-camera meeting. Can you be specific?
The special in-camera and the special regular meeting. Did you make it?
And I was on phone call.
Exactly. She says she's seen the invitation. And I'd like to see the copy of the invitation.
Let me be perfectly clear, okay? 2 points. One, Councillor Smook just explained that she was part of the call via telephone because she was in transit coming north to Thompson. There was no letter of invitation. There does not exist. I got a phone call from the province of Manitoba and the partners to invite me to a meeting in Winnipeg, okay? So that was the invitation. So that clarifies that. Any other questions?
And I still didn't get my first question yet. Who initiated and what department called for the meeting? You said the province can be Department of Justice, Department of Mining, Department of, I didn't get the picture yet.
I believe, I may stand correct, but I believe it was Minister Cullen who was in charge of, Gary, help me out with the proper name of the department.
Jobs and Enterprise, I believe.
Enterprise. Thank you. So with that, no, I'm not, everybody's had a chance to speak, and the mover gets to close the discussion. So with that being said, we'll call for the motion. I'll reread the motion. Moved by Councillor Wong, second by Councillor Matichak. Whereas the special meeting of Council on June 29th, 2016, Council passed a resolution number 2016-142 appointing Mayor Fenske as the City of Thompson representative to ad hoc committee to address Valet's 2018 closure of the smelter and refinery. And whereas on July 18, 2016, a written motion was brought forth to rescind resolution number 2016-142. And now therefore be resolved, the council rescind resolution number 2016-142, appointing Mayor Fenske as the City of Thompson representative to ad hoc committee to address Valet's 2018 closure of smelter and refinery. We'll call for, yes.
Before you call for the vote, can you do it a recording vote, please?
Councillor Wong has requested a recorded vote. So we'll call for the question. All those in favor of the motion to rescind, please say aye. Opposed? It's defeated. Voting in favor, Councillor Matichuk, Councillor Wong, Councillor Collada. Voting against, Councillor Ellis, Councillor Smook, Deputy Mayor Valentino, Councillor Foley, Councillor Byer, and Mayor Fenske. Thank you. Next, we have a resolution to approve the after-the-fact cost of Councillor Smook's attendance at the Port of Churchill meeting with Minister Eileen Clark. This is Resolution 2016-158, moved by Councillor Byer, second by Councillor Ellis. Whereas the City of Thompson was notified by the Town of Churchill of an imminent closure of Port of Churchill for the 2016 grain shipping season, and whereas the City of Thompson and Northern Manitoba is affected, and whereas the City of Thompson was requested to support the Town of Churchill and Northern Manitoba as a united voice, whereas due to the short notice, council members were polled by email prior to the travel to support Councillor Smook's attendance, and whereas Councillor Smook's attendance is required to be included in the resolution for insurance and audit purposes, now therefore be resolved, the council approve the costs associated with Councillor Smook's attendance at the meeting with Indigenous and Municipal Relations Minister Eileen Clark at a total cost of $1,545.96. Administration, anything to support? Go to the mover, Councillor Byer, anything to add?
It's unfortunate that we have situations that require such quick action, and we don't always have time to go through what we consider the normal process. I appreciate the email polling and the quick response from all the councillors, and I think Councillor Smook is the best person we can have attending these meetings because in her other life she's closely associated with the communities and with the rail service. So of course I'll be supporting this.
Thank you. Council, any other questions or comments? Deputy Mayor Valentino and then Councillor Foley.
I just want to echo a bit of Councillor Byers that was super short notice, and I certainly appreciate that you jumped on there to go for those councillors that replied to the email. I think we all agreed that Councillor Smook was the one to get there for the Churchill, so thank you very much, and I appreciate the updates also.
Appreciate the level of communication throughout this process. I mean, getting the emails out, and even though it was something that we had to do rather quickly, we couldn't get it to a regular meeting of council, that we had given consensus that for this situation, the right person for this job was Councillor Smook, and it's a perfect example of what I echoed earlier. Is we often have to find the right member of council in the right situation to handle the right meeting, and this is what we did.
Thank you, Councillor Wong.
It's just a hypothetical question. If this resolution defeated, does that mean Councillor Smook got to reimburse the money back to the taxpayer? No? Okay. Thank you.
Call for the question. All those in favor? Opposed? So let's do it again. All those in favor? Carried unanimously. Thank you. Next, we have a resolution to approve the after-the-fact cost of Mayor Fensky and Councillor Smook's attendance for a meeting with Federal Minister Jim Carr. Moved by Councillor Byer, seconded by Councillor Ellis. Whereas the City of Thompson was notified by the Town of Churchill of an imminent closure of Port of Churchill for the 2016 grain shipping season, and whereas the City of Thompson and Northern Manitoba is affected, and whereas the City of Thompson was requested to support the Town of Churchill and Northern Manitoba as a united voice, and whereas due to the short notice, council members were polled by email to travel prior to travel to support Mayor Fensky and Councillor Smook's attendance, and whereas Mayor Fensky and Councillor Smook's attendance is required to be included in a resolution for insurance and audit purposes, now therefore be resolved, the council approved the costs associated with Mayor Fensky and Councillor Smook's attendance at the meeting and with Federal Minister of Natural Resources Jim Carr at a total cost of $2,581.02. We'll go administration. Anything to support? Thank you. The mover, Councillor Byer. Anything?
So again, things happen quickly and with short notice, and at our in-camera meetings we're getting updates. There's I think good communication within council on this to date, and hoping that we can assist Churchill and ourselves in our own trading area as we move forward to get a resolution to this matter.
Thank you. Council, any other questions or comments? Councillor Smook, Councillor Wong.
My feelings on both these meetings, it was very important that we have attendance there. The Town of the Paw, community of Ilford, OCN, all these major stakeholders, and I think it made the government sit up and take notice that they could bring people together in 24 hours. Same with the federal government. They know that we're serious. There had been actually initial talks of maybe us sort of storming Ottawa next, but I believe that Ottawa has taken notice, and through many conference calls, of which we're all on, we've managed to alleviate that, and the government is working well with us to try salvage the 2016 grain season, which affects Thompson and the Bayline communities. It's not just a Churchill project.
Okay. I will support this resolution under the condition. Well, not condition, I gotta speak for that. Because it's already, this is only the back pay. My question is a prime example, this is a double standard. Okay? I don't see a big impact, but it might some impact to Thompson about the port closure. Or the mayor, Mike Spence, mayor of Churchill, asked for support. And we are sending 2 council to that meeting. When the valet, mitigation concern, closure of smelter and refinery, and you guys only restricted 1 person to go there, it doesn't make sense to me. It doesn't make sense to me. But, like I say, I have to support this because it's already done deal.
Council's comments, questions? Seeing none, call for the question. All those in favor? Carried unanimously. Thank you. Next, we have a resolution, resolution to approve the 2016 municipal road program and a memo from the city manager. This is moved by Deputy Mayor Valentino, second by Councillor Byer. Whereas it is deemed necessary for the city of Thompson to undertake improvement and construction of municipal roads in 2016. And whereas Manitoba Indigenous and Municipal Relations has announced a $16 million municipal road and bridge program that provides for 50% funding for municipal road and bridge renewal projects. Therefore, the Council of the City of Thompson requests Manitoba Indigenous and Municipal Relations provide the city 50% of the following works: Selkirk Avenue replacement, $847,491. Cree Road replacement, $339,700 for a total cost of $1,187,191. 50% of the project amount is $593,595.50. Mr. Sepatelli, anything to add?
For council's information is that this is an ongoing annual program with the city. They rejigged it likely 3 or 4 years ago, where they've added some other provincial programs into the mix. Came up with maximums for communities based on their population. The city of Thompson, with our population, we're eligible for a maximum of $400,000, of which we received over the last couple of years. The delay in the announcement of this program was due to the provincial election in April. The program usually comes out in March that we apply for as part of our budgetary process, and really sort of getting the quick turnaround from the province. This really is a housekeeping item that we require a resolution of council so we can submit the application to receive the $400,000 funding from the province.
Thank you. We'll go to the mover, Deputy Mayor Valentino. Anything to add?
Yeah, I just want to add I'd like to appreciate the due diligence that our administration team does. When I see some of this come through from the Finance Committee with such short time frames, I do appreciate the effort and how everything gets sent in on time for these, because there are a lot of work in these grant applications, especially with the change of government. So we read this with the check attached, but there was a lot of work that went into it, and the city has our stuff done in on time, so I certainly appreciate that.
Other questions or comments? Seeing none, call for the question. All those in favor? Carried unanimously. Thank you. Next up is the mayor's report. It'll be brief. Basically, the focus since the last meeting has been the Port of Churchill conference calls and in-person meetings, as well as the mitigation task force meetings regarding valet. Council, do you have anything to add in regards to representing the city of Thompson since the last meeting? Councillors? Anybody? Councillor Claudia, do you have something?
Held here a week ago. They collected information for funding for services here in the north regarding education and training. There was a lot of useful information that was given to our minister, and I think it was very useful for them to come to the community. Stacey is here. She was present, and I meant to bring my notes and I didn't, so if you have anything further to add, but I thought it was very useful. So just to reiterate that, you can read the details in the Thompson Citizen. I also have a booklet on all their programming and their aspirations for that funding. So if anyone would like to see it, I can put it in the City Council reading file.
Any other reports? Seeing none, the motion to adjourn. Deputy Mayor Valentino, Councillor Smook, all those in favor? Carried. We stand adjourned. Question period. General public, any questions? Please come forward, state your name, and ask your question, please.
Yes, Dave Tugwood here. I still have a question, like I was asking about why that newly licensed taxi driver who got into that motor vehicle incident where he rolled his vehicle and there was one fatality and one bad injury. I still haven't received an answer as to how he was granted a taxi driver's license without meeting all the qualifications that are set out in the taxi bylaw for qualifying for the license. He wasn't around. He hasn't been in the country long enough to qualify for those standards. I don't know how he got an exception to get a Class 4 Manitoba driver's license. I'm sure that's not something you can answer, but you can answer how he was able to get fast-tracked without all the background checks to get his taxi driver's license. Now, considering the fact that there has been one fatality and one serious injury as a result of that, an unqualified person being granted a taxi driver's license by the city.
I think I previously answered the question, is that we will look at the application and see what was done. I don't have any other information other than I can ask the department to look at the application.
And something else came to my attention over the meetings, like you were all the talks about conflict of interest and things like that. Well, in any of these things involving my taxi driver's license, there are at least 5 people in this room that are in a conflict of interest. You, for one, Mayor Fenske, City Manager Sepatelli, Councillor Byers, and John Mascarin, whatever his title happens to be, and Sonia Wiseman. All 5 of you are in a conflict of interest, and none of you should have any say in the resolution of this matter, which is part of the reason why I didn't appeal that decision to the Taxi Commission, because it would be impossible to get an impartial decision. That is why I've appealed this decision in 4 different avenues. And like I say, I have one of those has been completed, and I got it back, and it was decided in my favor. The other 3, I have no doubt that they are also going to be decided in my favor. And that time, I believe that Councillor Matichuk's words earlier on are going to prove to be rather prophetic.
Any other questions or comments? Yep, just come forward, state your name, and ask your question.
My name is Chu Chong, Mr. Mayor. My first question to you is, do you receive the funding for the CSO program?
We have a commitment from the province of Manitoba. Have we actually received the check? No, I don't believe we have. But, yes.
Is the program running?
And just let me finish. You asked a question about funding. We have an agreement with the province of Manitoba to provide us 50% funding over 2 years. That's the letter of an agreement, and we haven't seen a check yet, but that's the agreement in place.
So that means it's over 1 year, that means we spend over $600,000 under the taxpayer money right now, correct?
To the flow of grants, whether it be from the federal government or the provincial government, normally the municipality would have to expend their funds and get reimbursed for expenditures. So that's the normal practice of business. This is a normal situation that we've gone through with many other grants. It's no different than any other grant that we receive.
On your report down here, you mentioned who are the business people that support this program? You say you have a letter of support. So which of the business may I know?
Excuse me, I don't understand the question.
I'm talking about, you have mentioned that on the first page down there, the local business in downtown send letter of support, right? I'd like to know which business send letter of support.
Mr. Mascarin or Sonia?
All in the Community Safety Officer report. There's one available for you if you want to look at it.
I just wanted, for public information, it's a public document, right? You can go online or you can have a copy of it. But for the business' sake, whether they want to be advertised that they are supported, that's up to the business. They are in the document. I don't want to say publicly without consulting the business beforehand, but they are in the document itself.
I'm going to look for it. Okay, and also here say, I'd like to understand the words disturbance. Can you explain to me what's meant by disturbance? Disturbance. You say the disturbance had decreased 16.9%. So can you name what are the disturbance?
I'm not understanding. To the CSO report?
That's why I'm reading from here.
Do you have a specific? Administration, can you help me out? I'm not sure what he's referring to.
Well, year, and then it had gone down 16.9%.
Yeah, okay, gone down 16.9%. What are the disturbance?
The disturbances?
Yeah. What do you consider disturbance?
Question for clarification, in the report that's in the agenda, the 16.9% that you're referring to, that's cause for disturbance files opened by the RCMP in 2014, 2015, compared to 2015, 2016 have decreased by 16.9%, and the number of prisoners lodged under the Intoxicated Persons Detention Act, IPDA, have increased by 9.6%. So you're asking about the cause, a definition of cause for disturbance. We have a member, Colby, in attendance, so if he could just speak to what is a cause for disturbance.
Someone who's yelling, swearing, shouting, fighting, just generally causing a disturbance in a public place. So as long as they're in a public place, they're committing one of those acts and they're willfully disturbing somebody. So whether they're shouting, screaming, swearing, fighting, that's what a cause disturbance is.
Thank you. The next thing is, intoxicated people in downtown, they've been arrested and sent to the prison, right? Which is under the RCMP office. You have increased 9.6%. So in other words, you increase intoxicated people in downtown, that mean the downtown not being looked after.
That is, there is an increase in IPDAs with the CSO program, which means there are more intoxicated persons taken off the street and put in holding cell. It's not a prison, it's a holding cell, okay? So what that stat means is that there are more IPDAs, intoxicated persons, that are removed from the street to the holding cell by the CSOs than there were previously, because the RCMP didn't have the resources to deal with them on a day-to-day basis.
Okay, the last part is, I have seen more than twice mentioned about the success of the program, but how do you measure the success?
Numerous ways, and as I mentioned, the CSO program is one of 4 or 5 strategies in reducing the social issue that we have downtown. One of the programs that we had identified 38 high-risk offenders, regular users of the RCMP services, mental health services, regional health services, AFM, and things like that. And they concentrated on those 38 people to get them assistance in regards to their addictions or mental health issues. And so those 38 people were using a lot of the resources that are available in the community. Unfortunately, a number of those persons passed away due to their lifestyle, but others have been successful at 95 Cree Road in regards to housing being provided, them being able to deal with their addictions or mental health issues while not having to look for a house or a home or a place to sleep in the evening. So that's a success. There's been a decrease in the high-risk users in our community. So that's a success. The program, the cold weather program that the chief spoke to in regards to the use of the outdoor winter shacks has been reduced significantly because housing has been made available. So year over year, there's a dramatic decrease in the number of emergency shelters required after 10 o'clock in the winter because the temperature has reached a certain point, because a lot of those people that were using the emergency shelters already have shelter, and so those numbers have gone down. So there's a couple of instances of success in the overall social program. It's not to say that that it's over or that we're winning by yards or miles. It says that we're working towards assisting those that are in need, those that are less fortunate, and it is improving in the downtown area. Thank you.
Can I make a comment? The success of your program is on the expense of the taxpayer. Thank you.
We don't want to get into debate, so just a clarification. Councillor Foley first, and then Councillor Byer.
You had requested on page 43 in the document is the starting of the letters of support from the local downtown businesses, and I'd just like to point out there are some very well-respected businesses in the downtown area that are directly affected by the work that the CSO do. So, like I said, it's page 43, and they're all there. You can have a look at them. Of this document here, which is available at the front there if you don't have it. Make sure you get one, and it'll also be available on the website, as administration has already pointed out.
Yeah, I just wanted some clarification from Mr. Tugwood. If he would please explain to me how he sees me in a perceived conflict of interest. I haven't even been in a cab in Thompson for the last 32 years. Can you please explain?
Well, the amendments to the taxi bylaw in 2014 were passed by the last council, and you being a member of the last council, it's my understanding that you voted in favor of those amendments, and in spite of the fact that most of those amendments don't pass the test of being in accordance with the Constitution and the Canadian Charter of Rights and Freedoms. I consider that to be a conflict of interest, because you have to defend your vote to support that document, which with a little bit of due diligence.
Thank you for clarifying that, and you missed one other councillor who was also part of that vote.
Councillors' votes on a specific council meeting in regards to policy and bylaw are not in a conflict of interest scenario. And secondly, a conflict of interest has to be declared by the individual. It can't be declared on their behalf. So next up, question, your name and your question.
Yeah, John Bailey, Centennial East. This is more of a comment. I wore reading glass, not hearing aid. I sat over there and I hear Councillor Smook say that she saw the letter. And in the next conversation, she said that you guys said that there was no letter. Somebody's fibbing here, man.
Go to Councillor. Okay.
Yeah. That's all I have to say.
Yep, Councillor Smook.
Dennis got the notice that day, whether it was sent up as an email just from somebody that it was there. There was like he got the phone call, that the email, that he was the one asked by Minister Cullen. We had been at the mayor's meeting that morning, and I stopped to ask him a question about something else, and it just went on to there. So that's how I know he was the one invited.
You saw the letter, and in the next conversation, you said that all of you said that there was no letter.
It was not a letter. It was like just a correspondence. It was like an email. It wasn't a letter as such.
Okay, questions? No, just before I go to you, Mr. Tugwood, there's another person. I want to give everybody a first chance.
Chris Haas. In regards of garbage, is the city the owners of the big green garbage bins?
Mr. Septelli, there's
The mega bins, whatever you want to call them?
There's certain ones, yes. I mean, obviously that we do contract to pick up multiple family garbage on certain properties. Other properties would be through waste management or other private businesses that pick up garbage.
As an example, Brandon, does the city own that bin?
And I would have to check into it whether
Because it's a disgrace to see that bin in that state. There's a lid missing, the ravens are in there, garbage all over the place. There's a playground down there, kids are playing in it, and they quite regularly play in garbage. As far as I know, that bin belongs to the city. There's other companies in this town, their bins are in a way better state than the green bins.
38 Brandon, 38 Brandon?
The most.
Mr. Tugwood. Ask your question, please.
Regarding the Community Safety Officer Program, because one thing I have noticed, there doesn't seem to be anybody in town, the RCMP nor the community safety officers, that are doing anything about enforcing the taxi bylaw and checking on compliance for the taxi bylaw. We have taxis in this city which have had lights out for weeks at a time. There was one taxi, it was North Star number 324, for 5 consecutive days. He was driving around with a piece of opaque plastic in place of where the driver's door window would normally be. Now that is clearly a safety issue because it interferes with your view of the outside mirror. It interferes with your view of anything to the left side, which means you need that for lane changing, you need that for turning, you need that for everything. And this vehicle was driving around like that for 5 days. And nobody, I'd like to know who it is who's supposed to be enforcing the taxi bylaw to make sure that these taxis that are driving around are in compliance when they're clearly not. Because I'm going to start taking notes of all these cabs that are out of compliance. I tried phoning the license inspector, but my calls get ignored. So I'm going to start taking notes of all this, and if necessary, I'll be sending them to the Manitoba Taxi Board, because it's apparent that there may be a bylaw there, but there's only selective enforcement. Who is responsible for the enforcement of that bylaw?
So the question, direct answer to the question is we have bylaw enforcement people to manage the taxi industry. So that we have people in place. Again, the unit number that you noticed, please, if you could repeat it, we'll follow up with that unit number. 324. 324? Yes. And what color? White. White? Okay, we'll take note and follow up with that. Any other?
Hey, there's numerous cabs running around, like no lights not working. There's one who's been driving around for about 3 weeks with only one headlight. Sometimes he avoids. Sometimes he takes care of that by driving around with his high beams on, which is a very serious hazard. But that's what your bylaw enforcement people don't work nights, and that is when most of these infractions are seen. And so that's why I'm wondering why the community safety officers or the RCMP isn't doing a better job of enforcing these laws, because that's not. These things like that is not only violation of the taxi bylaw, it's violation of the Highway Traffic Act, and I understand that's the RCMP's responsibility.
Let me finish. In regards to the enforcement, there is a priority in calls of which the RCMP and the CSOs have to deal with. Certainly, if they have the time and resources to deal with those types of infractions, they will. But understand there is a priority of calls that have to be completed to police our community and to enforce the bylaws. If there is, and this is a statement to the general public, if there's a taxi cab, or if there's a property that's out of standards that you're not happy with, if there's an incident or something that you need to report, please report to City Hall so we can deal with it. We don't have the resources to be everywhere and to be everything to everyone at all times. So we certainly would ask the general public to assist with those. And certainly we've taken the unit number of the one you've identified. If there's others, please let us know and we'll follow up. Thank you.
This is a safety issue, and the safety of the public, yes. But like I say, in light of the incident of July 21st on Highway 391 east of Lynn Lake, and in light of the fact that you in your letter to me dated on the 23rd,
You all of this history.
I'm asking a question.
You've asked the question, I've answered the question.
I'm asking another question.
Which is it?
That is, I'm questioning how, I'm just based on what was written in that letter to me about one of the reasons given for not giving a taxi license is the fact.
We are not reviewing the incident.
I'm not reviewing it. That's a relevant point for me to make for my question.
We're not entertaining questions on that file at this time.
I'm not asking a question on that file. I'm asking a question about just how concerned is the city about the safety of the taxi driving public when there's nobody, when this enforcement is not considered a priority.
It's been asked and answered. Any other things? Anything else?
Well, it's okay. If you don't want to hear from me, you'll be hearing from Winnipeg
General
and
public,
Ottawa.
Any other questions or comments from the general public? Yeah, just before Bob, just 2 secs. Councillor Foley.
To the statement in regards, you said that the taxi cab for numerous days was driving in an unsafe manner. I just want to know how many times had you contacted the city in regards to that safety issue? Once. Okay, so thank you.
Thank you. Mr. Good, for the record, please state your name and ask your question.
Bob Good. I want to get on this Valley issue a little bit, because I wasn't in town when you claimed that you got a call from the government to go there on a special meeting. Am I right? Why wasn't the public informed before you passed the resolution for that?
Special meeting of council was held in accordance with the organizational procedural bylaw where the public was notified 48 hours in advance.
Where did we get it?
You may have not got a personal notification, but according to our organizational procedural bylaw, we notify 48 hours in advance prior to calling the special meeting of council.
Was council given 48 hours notice?
I'm not sure why you're looking at answering the question. Absolutely.
So, getting into this conflict of interest, why do you think you're not in conflict of interest?
Because, as I've stated, in the 2 instances that you've asked a question, okay, in the 2 instances that I have declared a conflict, there is a contract or a letter of understanding to be signed with Valet between the City of Thompson and Valet. In this instance, there's no contract, there's no pecuniary interest of mine. I am the mayor of the City of Thompson, and I've been asked to lead this community in a downturn in the economy that was announced in 2010 that's coming to fruition in 2018. I've been asked to sit as part of a task force initially to put a plan in place to deal with the reduction in the workforce from Valet and the pending impacts on the community of the City of Thompson. So my presence there is on behalf of the City of Thompson as the Mayor of Thompson, just as Mayor Spence's presence at the Port of Churchill with the downturn in their economy announcement by Omnitrax. I'm fulfilling my role as the Mayor of Thompson, and I am not in conflict, and I do not declare a conflict in this instance.
Were you represented Valet when you were down there too?
I answered it. There's no requirement for comment.
Why?
Because I was not representing Valet. I was representing City of Thompson. That was the question. Do you have another question?
Yeah, I think under Valet's code of conduct, you're violating it too.
Excuse me, do you know the code of conduct?
Yeah, I sure do.
Can you quote it where I am in violation?
I'll bring it in the next meeting and I'll read it to you.
Okay, read it to me, because I have a lawyer who's already said...
I don't care how many lawyers you got. It's in black and white.
Yes, it is. I've got a Valet lawyer that says when I am and when I'm not, and I've declared when I am. So if you want to dispute that, we'll dispute it.
Okay.
Any other questions?
No, that's good.
Thank you.
Oh, yeah, I have one.
Yes.
The way I see our city being run here...
Is there a question?
It's by a mayor.
Is there a question?
It's by a city manager.
Is there a question, Mr.
It's by one outsider and 5 puppets on the string.
Thank you. We're looking for a call for adjournment to the end, or sorry, rattled here a bit. General public, one more question. Come forward and state your name and ask your question.
Hello, I am Stacy Parker. I'm asking about the 32 Cambridge, the building that's going on next door. I was wondering when that project's going to be done.
I don't have a project completion date. It's nearing completion. They're just doing interior touch-ups right now, but I would not feel confident giving you a date at this point.
Another question would be that fence that's supposed to go up is because I'm losing 3 feet of my land to put that fence up. I don't know if any of you are aware of that, but so how are they going to do that, and like when?
Council is aware of this, the move of 3 feet back from that property along the actual property line. As to when it will be completed, so that's a Manitoba Housing procedure. So Manitoba Housing, I believe, is currently working on procuring the materials. If not, I don't know if they're already on site, but I'm hoping within the next month, before September, that will be done.
Yeah, great. Because on that land I have shrubs that are probably within that limits, so what's going to happen to all my trees and shrubs that are going to be on there? And they already laid out sod, so I don't know how they're going to get in between all their grass they put down already.
Can I suggest you meet with Matt tomorrow or at your earliest convenience to discuss the issues that have been raised? I think that would be most appropriate. Any other questions?
I don't know, that fence has been there for about 22 years, I guess, so I don't know if anything can be grandfathered in, so they don't move it, or move the sidewalk.
With Matt as soon as you meet with him. Thank you. Any other questions or comments? Second time. Third and final. We stand adjourned. Have a good evening.